A very warm welcome. Today we have with us Mr. Milind Khamkar, who is the Group CIO at Supermax. A very warm welcome, sir. Thank you for joining at CXOTV.
Thank you, Urmi. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you, sir. So, before we proceed with the entire discussion around the personal care industry, we would actually like to know how your journey has been so far over the years. If you can share some insight around this.
Thank you for inviting me once again. It's a pleasure and honor to be here. Just a small disclaimer: this interview is completely my personal perspective and opinion. It's nowhere linked with my employer. To begin with, about me, I'm a group CIO with Supermax, which is an Indian multinational CPG having the presence in more than 150 countries. I take care of their complete digitalizations and IT operations from India. I started my journeys in early 90s after completing my post-graduations in computer science from Bombay University. I started with the consultancy business and grown with constructions. I spent almost 3 years with the constructions company, taking care of their IT operations. After serving the constructions company, I joined the pharmaceutical industry by the company named Rusell. That was my entry into the pharma world. I spent more than 20 plus years in pharmaceutical industry, serving companies like Rusell, Abbott, Sanofi, Aventis. Sanofi Aventis is my longest tenure, more than 14 years, where I started with the head of IT operations for Sanofi Syntalabo prior to their separation of joint venture with Torrent. From there, since Sanofi became an independent business in India and acquiring Aventis and become a Sanofi Aventis. While leaving, I was taking care of Southeast Asia operation. And I spent almost 20 plus years in pharmaceutical world. Probably I'm one of the longest tenure CIO in pharma world. After that, last 8 years, I'm serving CPG industry as a group CIO. Throughout my career, I was making simple, pragmatic, secure automation approach in my business, which I'm serving. Always adopting the technology which is helpful for my business and making the order in chaos. That was my forte in last 3 decades of serving.
Absolutely. It's not just run down the entire journey that you have been associated with in the past 3 decades. I would say an extensive years of experience. So we would actually like to understand more on the industry, especially in terms of the personal care industry. We have seen significant shift towards e-commerce and direct-to-consumer models. So how are organizations leveraging technology to enhance their online presence as well as engage with customers and streamline their e-commerce operation?
Your question is nothing but the beginning of one entire book. Let me be very precise on this. The CPG industry is always known by many names, many verbs. But in broader sense, it is segmentized into design and development of the product, which is nothing but research and development. Then comes the manufacturing, and third is the distribution of the product. A CPG, by the nature of their product segmentation, is a kind of product we are manufacturing and distributing, which requires a frequent replenishments or replacement, and it is used by the masses and the classes together. So that's the uniqueness of this industry, and always remain unimpacted by any kind of pressure, any kind of difficulty, except for the slowdown in terms of the financials. So CPG industry is always governed by the consumer experience, and hence the consumer expectations and demands are always served by this industry. So these 3 sub-segment of the business, which is research and development of the product, design and development, manufacturing and distributions. So let me address each segment one by one for the technology adoptions. The design and development is a part of this industry where the products are getting developed, the products are getting up to date, the products are getting optimized. So this segment required the classical technology approach. They deal with a lot of internal as well as external data. Then they also work with the latest technology because their output is the input for the core business. And they have to keep themselves regularly up to date in terms of the technology adoptions. Their approach is going to make the product competitive, and they are going to increase the brand value in the market. They are also going to optimize the web cost and serve with the value to the customer. So this is a critical segment of the business. Then come the manufacturing. Manufacturing in CPGs are governed by many, many things. The supply chain, which starts with the planning process, where again you require the consumption of the heavy data. Then comes the procurement process, quality, core manufacturing, and the distributions. Now, this area is little back in terms of the adoption of information technology. They may be ahead of the time as far as the operational technology is concerned. And this is the area where the integrations of IT and OT is required. For the end of the day, word technology remains common. Information and operational keeps changing. And merging that together and bring the IoT is the demand of the hour for the manufacturing side. How best you can produce the product and how we can meet the consumer expectation. That's the demand on the manufacturing. Here we are producing the qualities and the quantities of the product so that we can serve the demand in the marketplaces. Third comes the distributions, which is a direct exposure to the consumer. And the distribution in India as well as abroad is impacted by many, many things. It's impacted by the demand generated by the sales and marketing team. It also required the effectivity of the salesperson in the marketplaces. Then the supply. It has to be on time, on place, wherever there is a demand. So distribution is a core for that. And sales and marketing is an important functions. Influencing the consumer in a varieties ways and making sure that we are available at the channel of consumer choice is important. And the omni-channel approach is very, very critical as far as the CPG product distribution is concerned. So these are the three areas, and all these three areas are highly influenced and governed by the technology. The converting available internal data and transforming it to the business insight is a underlying importance for this business. The more and more data get converted to the actionable insight is important for the business. And for that, whatever technology adoption is required, whatever technology penetration is required, is a choice what we have to make is selectively and with the time demand.
Absolutely. So, in this field of personal care product side, what exactly do you think are the major trends do you see which are emerging, as well as how do you believe that these trends will impact the consumer behavior and the overall market landscape?
It's very important to understand the consumer behavior. The business after 2019, it is categorized into pre-COVID and the post-COVID business. The pre-COVID business was more physical nature. The consumer was expecting us to be present wherever they are, physically present. Post-COVID, this scenario is changed. There is a heavy amount of adoption of technology is happening. More and more technology is getting penetrated. More and more market segmentations are getting influenced by the technology. Even in India, tier 2, tier 3 countries, consumers are mobile savvy. They want their transactions to be happen through mobile. They want their product available through mobile. So mobile-based business is getting highly influenced and highly demanding as far as the consumer demand is concerned. Now, technology has changed the many things, and the COVID is a reason for that. COVID is a reason for many things. It has done back to the human life and also helped the business to adopt the technology much faster than before. Now, what is change? During the COVID, it is important to know there was a demand for the touchless transactions. The people were expecting, the consumer were expecting the goods to reach them, which should not have touch of many intermediaries. And that is given the rise to the direct to consumer kind of expectations. The consumer want to order their product from wherever they are, from whichever device they are, and they expect a delivery as per their convenience. This is possible by the direct to consumer emerging business. direct to consumer or consumer commerce is something new for the Indian market. And this is also linked with the changing habit of the consumer. Previously, people used to enjoy the physical shopping. Now they enjoy the virtual shopping. And for that, direct to consumer is important channel as far as the manufacturers are concerned. It helps them to control the price. It helps them to control the product mix. It helps us to control the reach of the our product to the various consumer market. And it also gives a value of money for the consumer. And that's the major emerging trend as far as the post-COVID business is concerned. And I'm sure there are going to be a lot of fields will get added in the coming times with the adoption of the new technology, the invention of the new technology, and the demand coming from the consumer side. For us, the consumers are divided into many segments, but more attractive are the digital savvy consumer. The more attractive are the young consumer who require demanding expectations from the product what they are using. Their loyalty for the product and brand is yet to establish. Hence, they keep trying various products. So in that case, how we can give them the product of their choice and make sure that they hook to my product, my business for the life period of the time. Because grooming industry is such, people generally don't change a product very often. There is a great amount of loyalty. Maybe the middle age or old age, those who are using my product, they are using since ages. But whereas the young consumer, they are yet to establish the loyalty. They start their grooming with the parental experience now, and they grow as per their pocket size and probably get established with their branding. So how to influence and make sure that they stay with my product. Apart from the quality, the value of the product is very important, and availability in the digital age is extremely important for the young consumer.
I can't really agree more to what you exactly mentioned. Just let's see, COVID-19 has changed the lives of everybody, in fact, but at the same time, people have grown much more tech savvy. And the way the customers react today is they actually want everything at their tip of their finger in order to access everything. So how exactly do you think that the personal care product industry responded to these changes? And are there any further notable shift or adoptions that you believe will have a lasting impact on the market even beyond the pandemic?
So as I mentioned, the core of the consumer business is a consumer.
Absolutely.
And the major theme of the consumer business is how we can replenish and replace their demand as per their choice. And for that, what is important is the convenience is matters. How conveniently we make our product accessible to the consumer. In grooming segment, majority of time, the women of the house do the shopping for the men of the house. And in that case, for her, the cost is a very, very important factor. The availability of the product in the shelf is also critical. And that is what really challenging for us. The women's shopping habits, the grocery shopping habits are changed. Instead of going into the shops, kirana shops, they try to do it online. There are so many online segments are available. So we can't be really one with one online company or a marketplace. We have to be available our product in all the places wherever people can go and buy their groceries or buy their grooming products. Apart from that, we also have our own direct to consumer, what we call Shave Club, where consumer can go and order our product online from that channels. Why we have so many channels? It's because of the choice of the consumer. They are not confined or stick to the one particular channel. They keep mobilizing, keep traveling, depending upon what kind of deals they are getting, what kind of value they are getting, what kind of attractions they are having, and they make the shopping. And we have to be available there. So making our product available in all the channels, like giving the omni-channel experience is one of the important factor for us in the current business. Second is giving the value for the money. We can't really load our product with the heavy advertising and the cost is passed on to the consumer. So we generally try to give the quality product with less frills, which can add the cost to my consumer. Third is the trust of the consumer, which means the quality of the product has to be a good. It has to be such a way that we are competing with the best of the people in the marketplaces. So our competition is with the best and also the best in the cost. So the balancing that is a critical factor. We have to optimize our supply chain to make sure that our products are easily accessible to the consumer wherever they are. Then there is a segmentation of the consumer. There are the economical consumption, there is a premium consumption, and there is a moderate consumption happens. So we have to make our product mix also available accordingly. We cannot really serve the one segment. We have to serve all the segments of the market. And being the global company, the grooming habits are varying from the country to country, which we try to address in our product, which is an impact on my manufacturing and the design and development process, what I described in the beginning of the discussions. The new technologies are making the waves in the marketplaces. There can be a blind adoption or there can be the thoughtful adoptions. We generally adopt the technology, and more than that, we try to make the technology work for our business. And hence, it's not a rush to go and adopt. We see that there is the great amount of automations required in terms of the manufacturing is concerned. We are still with the conventional manufacturing, so we want to improve their manufacturing with the additions of IoTs or the sensor-based manufacturing in our plants. We have plants in Gagret, which is close to Dharamshala, where still there is a connectivity is an issue. So we want to address that and make sure that this plant is well connected with my central location. Second is about the distribution. How we can find out the best place where my demands are getting served. And for that, using the data, analyzing it to the extent, converting that data to the actionable insight is very, very important. So that, we can reach to the place where consumers are available and the demands are generated. And third is using the latest technology like artificial intelligence. We still okay with the human intelligence, natural intelligence. So we are not yet completely adopted to artificial intelligence, but definitely in the coming time, when we start using the external data more and more for internal decision making, we will have to use artificial intelligence as a supporting technology for human intelligence or the natural intelligence. So these are the two, three things what we are planning to do in the coming months. Instead of rushing with the technology adoption, we will do it thoughtfully so that the use of technology is important for us for the business purpose.
So we actually are seeing sort of technological advancement in every industry rather. So in what ways do you foresee technology shaping the personal care product sector, and what potential innovations or disruptions do you anticipate in the near future?
There is, in current scenario, there is no business without technology. The many business are even declared they are a technology company with a business license to the business. In my segment, personal care or the CPG industry, a technology adoption is important factor. It is important to fulfill the demand of my end consumer. It's important to manage my supply chain effectively. It's important for my product development. It's important for the optimizing my manufacturing. It's important for operational efficiency purposes. Now, what technology, when, and how, that is a critical decision point which me as a CIO have to make. There is a glorification of the technologies in the marketplace. The launch of the technology from Western world to Eastern worlds are shrinking. Practically, it happens simultaneously. But still, there is a lot to do as far as the foundation things are concerned. Technology is evolving, doing their job. It is time tested. It is proven by varieties of use cases. But it is important questions to be answered is what my business is going to achieve on that. Whether my business is ready for that. Whether my people in the business are going to adopt that. Or it is merely just going for the new technology and fulfilling the technology aspirations of some people. And that's a critical decision making what we as a CIO have to make along with some of the leadership in the organization. So we take the technology which is useful and implementable for my business rather than just for the sake of technology. We still have a lot to do as far as manufacturing operations are concerned. We still have our plants to be connected. We still have IoT to be implemented. one important thing we have to do is a conversion of data to the actionable insight. And that habit is getting developed. We see now the conversation across organization is data driven rather than judgmental or gut feeling. And that's an important change for us. People are talking on the data set. They are not talking vaguely, which is very, very, very important. And that has to be developed as a culture. Then we can go for next level of technology. Unless we use the natural intelligence properly, the artificial intelligence will be overwhelming. We will not be able to use and consume the potential of that. And that's the reason we are first addressing the use of natural intelligence before getting into the artificial intelligence. Nevertheless, we are using the technologies and tools to support the internal requirement, but we are not rushing with the technology adoption. We are very careful and sensitive about the adoption of the technology. I hope I answered your question because you had a very loaded questions.
No, absolutely. You did answer the question. So, as a group CIO, I mean, as you just mentioned, it's a very critical role. We would like to understand that in terms of the challenges, what are the key challenges that you face in aligning technology initiatives with the broader business goals and strategies of the organization? And as you were mentioning about technological investments and innovation, which is a key or primary focus. So how do you ensure that the efforts are effectively integrated and contributed to the overall growth of the organization?
Good. So when I started my journey in early 90s, the technology was starting from the enterprise and then getting into the personal space, which is reversed by this time now. The technologies are first getting adopted in a personal space and then coming to the enterprise, which means the users are already experienced and somewhat savvy about the new technology. And that's the reason there is a upward demand for the new technology, because they have experienced this technology in the personal space. Now they want the similar experience in the enterprise space. But technology adoption in the 10 enterprise is a process by itself. I can't change, I can't replace the technology in a just minute of the time. I have to ensure that whatever technology I am going to adopt or replace is bringing added value or new value to my business. So value assessment is very, very important. And for that, I would like to align my business partner and make sure that my business chemistry is intact while I'm making any change or adopting any new technology. That's the starting point. And this will help me to align the technology objectives with the business objectives. There cannot be two different objectives. Technology objective has to be the subset of business objective. It cannot be independent of each other. It is a dependent of each other. And unless that is started, the technology is a disaster. Second is making sure what kind of technology I am going for. And for that, what changes I have to do. Whether the changes are incremental or they are transformational. And based upon that, set the theme for the adoption of the technology. The technology people or IT or the CIOs are the partners in enabling the technology. They can't really go and use the technology. They are going to help the people to use the technology for the business purpose. So this is very, very important. Third is a security. A security is a responsibility of technology people. Users really don't care for it. They want the convenience. They want the easiness. They want the choice of their technology. They really don't care that what happens if particular technology is not yet secure, or there are certain things need to be addressed before adapting to the business. The users see that I want this technology. This technology is in the market. I use it for my personal purpose and I see value for it. But the CIO will have to see how this technology is going to gel in my current technology ecosystem. What are the pros and cons? And what are the security measures I have to address while adopting? And last but not the least, the associated costs, the total cost of ownership of that technology, and how we can fulfill to ensure that it's helpful for business at least certain period of time. So these are the critical process which CIO have to follow while adoption of any new technology.
Right. So, all right. So, in terms of, in your opinion, you would like to understand what are the tech priorities that you see would be coming over the next 2 to 5 years to come by?
For my company and my industry, I think the immediate and the priority number one is converting or transforming data into actionable insight. That's the very, very important things, because the huge data is collected, but very few data is used for the business purpose. To identifying the data, converting it into business actions, actionable insight is just beginning of the journey, and that's what we will see in the coming period. And for that, whether it will be fulfilled by the natural intelligence or supported by the artificial intelligence, that will be depending upon the journey. Yeah, it cannot be single pointed saying that artificial will address everything. We will really have to see how we can follow this journey. That's a number one priority in the coming period. Priority number two is, we are always heard about IT/OT integrations, but it is important to see what kind of manufacturing operations are still to be automated, how best these automations can happen, whether it is a sensor based or IoT 4.0, 4.5, or whatever numbers we are observing in the marketplace, or any new kind of technology, whether the digital twins is required or printing processes need to be changed. All these things is matters based upon what kind of product we want to give at what kind of cost and value is important. That's going to be the second priority for us. Third priority, and important priority, how we can improve the experience of our consumer. Because end of the day, I may I may design the best product, I may produce the good product, quality product, but if I'm not going to influence the consumer, all my efforts are not converted into business value. Hence, how I am going to take care of my consumer is very, very important. And for that, the social media get into the pictures, or digital commerce get into the pictures, mobile-based interactions get into the pictures, and using and consuming the data available internally and externally to analyze the demand is very, very important. So I see these are the three important buckets of processes which require the technology help for the business value purpose.
Right. So, all right, now, thank you so much for sharing your insights, such a close insight to the entire personal care industry. Thank you so much for joining and sharing your time with us.
Thank you, Urmi. Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure sharing my experience and exposures with the August audience. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
I'll give one more, yeah.
For more updates from CXO TV, please like and subscribe to our channel.